Hello my beautiful people, welcome to your weekly general with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and this resonates, hit the subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you for it. With that said, if you would like to book your personal reading with me, you can do so on the website address below. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help us all on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So this week, we are coming into November. Can you believe it? It's crazy. Like, even though this year has dragged on, it's also quite quite disconcerting that it's already November. So yeah, really crazy but interesting energies floating around. So this week when I went into my intuition, what I could actually see was up close I was seeing something being woven, and at first I thought it was somebody that was like making a plait of hair, and then as I came out and I started to see like what it was turning into, what I was actually looking at is somebody was weaving a basket. And the way that I kind of took this message is start weaving your desires, right? So even though we still have Mercury and Mars retrograde, by the time we get to the 15th of November, both of those will be direct, right? I think by then as well, Mercury will actually be out of shadow. Don't hold me to that, I think so. I've got a sneaking suspicion it will be out of shadow, but yeah, either which way, that means that all planets then by that time I think are going to be direct, which is a very powerful energy. It means that this is when you can start moving on things. But now, this moment, this week is the time for you to start putting your plans in place. It's time to start locking things in. It's time to start weaving those desires into something tangible, having having the material or the content ready to go. If you've got a channel, having the knowledge and the information for what it is that you want to deliver. You'll have to forgive me, the lighting's terrible, I know, but such as right then, if this is something that you're wanting to create, making sure that everything that you have in place is in place, making sure that all of the the knowledge, the information that you're hoping to use or to utilize is locked in. This is the time where you need to be locking it in. Now, a lot of people might argue that point and they'll say, oh, but you shouldn't start anything in a retrograde. I'm not talking about starting anything. What I'm talking about is this is the week where if you've got 1,000 notes on a talk that you want to give, this is the week where you start to put them into sequence. This is the week where you start to build behind the scenes the track that you are going to take whenever it is that you're, when you do have that energy moving forward, that you can put something into practice. So when I say start weaving your desires, now, this week is the time where you need to start doing the work, right? At the moment, it might just feel like you're lost or stuck in the mire of the detail. Stay in that space for now, because as of next week and onwards, you're going to start to see things build. You're going to start to see things change. You're going to start to see things move. All right, so stick with it. For our destiny card for the week ahead, we have the Chariot card, right? So this week is going to be quite quick, and you may have moments where you feel like you're kind of chasing your tail, and this probably just because if you're anything like me, there is a lot to do, and there's only one of you to do it, or maybe there's something that you're working on, or maybe some big project with work, something on a personal level, and this week is gonna seem to literally just zip past. Like, you'll be really surprised at how fast this week goes. Use the time to best effect, right? This is the time for you to really utilize your time. So this is why when I say about weaving your desires, remember, when you're weaving something, you have to take your time, you have to be meticulous, you have to be slow, steady, and relentless, but it's also a monotonous kind of energy. So the Chariot card is usually victory and success. Yes, it's still got all of those meanings, which basically says we can win the week. But it's kind of reminding you that in order to do that, you're going to have to command the ship. Now, when we're talking about your ship or your chariot, this is about you, how you use your time, how you use your mind effectively, how you how you create whatever it is that you're trying to bring into the world, right? This is a week where you really need to be on point, where you really need to be focused. Take your time, right? Even though this week is going to go really quick, when everything else in the world speeds up, slow yourself down. That's a trick that I learned, and I tell you what, it's been invaluable for me. So let's give it some context or some shape or some form. See what the direction card is. How do we best utilize our chariot-like energy? We have the Queen of Cups. So a Cancerian person is very likely to feature this week in some way, shape or form. I say this because the Queen of Cups is usually a water sign, Pisces, Cancer or Scorpio. She's coupled with the chariot, ta-da, Cancerian. All right, so Cancerian energy, vibes and themes may be pervading this week, which is interesting. So nurture, nourishment, you know, what do you care for? These are things that you could, you know, could definitely be coming up. But look at this, right? She's the direction. So through care, through patience, through diligence, through reflection, and sometimes really just kind of allowing things to be as they are. These are some of the characteristics. Now, what's the other characteristics? I always say that the chariot, because when you think about tarot and the zodiac, the high priestess is very Cancerian energy, but she's like the internal part of it. Whereas the chariot card for me is the exoskeleton of the crab, right? And so this week it's about making sure that you get through something, that you are resolute, that you are stuck to something, just like the, you know, when it latches onto something, hold on to that, but do it through, this is a week to be strong. It's a week for you to be tough with yourself. It's a week for you to be diligent, patient, kind, nurturing, loving to yourself and to others. But it's also a week where you really want to pay attention to what you are really reflecting on. Where is it? What are your deeper drives and motivations? And because this is a direction card, this is asking you to be present in what you feel. It's asking you to own what you feel, right? So this week is a week for you to really sit in your feelings. And, you know, I always say to people, like, observe them. You don't have to unpack there and be like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm feeling and it's oh so terrible. You don't have to be in that space. But if you are not feeling great, you need to sit with that and own it. It's only by really sitting with what we have and accepting and acknowledging that we're ever able to truly move beyond it. So the fact that we've got this, you know, off the back of that destiny card on the wider world stage, I think this could be a week where there's going to be a lot of compassion, right? There's going to be an outpouring of compassion, and it's really interesting. I know because I've seen, you know, snippets on the internet about what's happened in Nigeria, and I think this is going to be on the wider world stage. This is going to be a whole bunch of people rallying behind that cause to do something about it. We're going to see an outpouring of energy, of love, of care, of compassion from people in order to do something about this. Now, underneath that, right, we're all going to be in our feels this week, as we can see. It's really important that you don't let those things out there sway you in here, right? You can't allow that to distract you from doing the work. And and it's awful what's happened, and, you know, I'll be doing whatever I can, you know, even if it's just something small to help or to be of an assist. However, we really, really need to be conscious this week of how we feel. When you change your inner world, you are better for the world. When you do that, that's how you, one person, can change the world. Do not let whatever happens out there this week sway you from doing the work that needs to be done in here or in here. All right, for our insight, what is coming in outside of this, what is going on behind the scenes that we might want or need to know. This week we have the Ace of Cups. This is a beautiful week, but it's a very watery week. Isn't it interesting that we're now in Scorpio season? So the sun is in Scorpio, we've got Mercury in Scorpio, and look at this, to reflect all of that water. Neptune's in Pisces as well, to reflect all of that water. We've got this. Now, as an insight card, the Ace of Cups is basically saying whatever it is that you've been working on, whatever it is that you've been striving towards, It's coming. It's so much closer than you know. The Chariot card with the Ace of Cups, that's something literally just around the corner. It's a victory or a success or a new beginning that is literally around the corner for you. This is not a week for you to give up. This is not a week for you to get in your feels and be exasperated and say, well, fuck it then, I can't be bothered anymore. I've been trying, I've been da-da-da-da-da. This is not a week to do that, right? This is a week to really sit in how you feel, observe how you feel, work patiently, diligently, put everything together, put everything in place so that when your moment comes, Ace of Cups, you can initiate what it is that you're trying to. Now remember, your insight card is about the energy that's coming in. So this is what's kind of happening beyond this week or shaping up behind the scenes this week in order to manifest at a later date. Ace of Cups is a beautiful card, and I really do feel on the wider world stage we are going to see an outpouring of compassion and love and people pulling together, which is beautiful. I do as well get the sense, unfortunately, that another way that this may play out is they might start just literally just carting people out or shipping people out of that part of the world, or at least providing them some sort of shelter or relief while they get themselves out of there. There's so much more that I could say on that, but I think I will leave it at that. This could also be a week as well on the wider world stage where we start to see something happen with transport or what's the word? Transport or travel, and you know, very likely what we're going to be seeing is, I don't think they're going to be lifting restrictions. I think they're going to put things in place so that the whole industry can start to, you know, slowly but surely grind to a beginning again. And I think we're going to see the start of that when Mars and Mercury go direct. So really, really interesting stuff as to what's happening right now. But like I said, this is a lot of water. This is all of us really in our feels. And like I said, no matter what happens out there, don't let it distract you from doing the work in here. Because once you've done that work and you have clarity of mind, you have clarity of heart, soul, spirit, once you have that inner clarity, no matter what happens outside, no matter how murky, woodsy or dense or whatever it gets, you will be able to see, navigate and conduct yourself clearly, properly, and you know, all above board. With that said, I wish you all an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how this shapes up for you guys. Take care, and I'll see you soon.